This here is Boom Studios Go-Go Power Rangers comic issue number 14. We begin 6 years before arrival day at the Angel Grove Karate Academy. Jason was dropped off at the academy by his mother. He's a bit of a hothead here, as this follows the incident of Jason getting into trouble with another boy at camp. Something we already knew about in the earlier issues. Jason is not at all keen in learning karate. The sensei pretty much has Jason all worked out, and he really hits a sore spot when he tells Jason that he thinks he's broken. This provokes a reaction from Jason. Instead of talking back like he had been doing earlier, he actually tries to punch the sensei. He naturally blocks it, but it was refreshing to see that Jason used to lose his cool like this in his younger days. He's more real than the almost flawless character of the original TV series. Jason is about to walk out of the academy until the sensei tells him that staying might allow him to deal with his feelings and be in control for a change. Jason decides to stay. So that's probably how Jason ended up being so disciplined. Returning to the present, Jason and Trini switched colours and are now running away from the beasts which approached them at the end of the last issue. Despite the colour change, Trini and Jason have no difficulty in fighting off the beasts. So the power swap may only be superficial. They still have ranger abilities, but wearing different suits. Having said that, Trini does say that was unexpectedly effective, after taking down 2 beasts. So maybe the Red Ranger powers are a bit stronger? Trini then tries contacting Alpha and Zordon, but there's no response. Jason is fascinated about being on another planet and can't wait to tell Billy. I suppose being on another planet and seeing 2 moons is more amazing than being on the moon. At the command center, Zordon tells the other Rangers that Jason and Trini passed through a trans-dimensional gateway and should have ended up where Rita is. The Rangers can't teleport there, but Zordon and Alpha have already started to search for Jason and Trini. With 2 Rangers out of action, there's no Megazord in the event of an attack. As Kimberly and Zack leave, Billy chooses to stay behind to talk with Zordon. The bad news is that without Jason and Trini's exact coordinates, it will be nearly impossible to find them. Now we move on to Rita. She's arrived at a palace and receives a hostile welcome, with spears pointed directly at her. The beings here are the Kedri, and the ruler is the warrior queen, Adriel. She asks why Rita has returned. This takes us back to the earlier issues where we saw Rita conquering other worlds, as the Breel are mentioned by Queen Adriel. To see whether this is the real Rita, the Kedri try to attack Rita, but her staff skills are surprisingly good, as she blocks their attacks before finishing them off with her magic. Rita says she didn't come to fight, she's there to request a favour. At Rita's palace, Finster is working on some monsters when Babu enters. Continuing from the previous issue where Babu hints that Rita has failed them, he suggests to Finster that Rita may have been stifling his creativity. If Finster made the decisions, the monsters would be better, so it seems some power play might be coming in future. At the youth centre, no Jason means Zack has to cover his karate classes. He tries to teach them his signature hip-hop Kido, but basically fails as Jason's class seem unimpressed and ask when Jason will be returning. That was fun to see Zack fail like that. Now for something weird. Kimberly tells Zack that she went to Mrs. Appleby to get Jason and Trini extensions on the research papers. However, their papers were already uploaded on that day from the library. Not only that, Zack tries to cover for Jason's absence when Ernie starts asking, by saying that Jason's got food poisoning. But Ernie tells him Jason texted him an hour ago to say he was going to visit a sick aunt. Something's clearly going on, so they check in with Billy at the command center, who denies doing anything to cover for Jason and Trini's absence. Suddenly, Alpha picks up a transmission. It's Jason and Trini. Zack sees their colour swap through the viewing globe. Zordon is fascinated as he's never seen a disruption to the morphing grid like this. The transmission starts to break up and Jason sees why. The Kedri are attacking. Jason and Trini's helmets go on and they go into battle, treating the Kedri like their putties. More funny exchanges here as Jason complains about fighting with Trini's power daggers, whereas Trini seems to like having the bigger power sword. All of a sudden, Trini hears Jason say they should run, but Jason tells her he didn't say anything. It turns out that Trini can hear Jason's thoughts. This may be as a consequence of their color swap. Jason's plan to run takes them to the edge of a cliff. Trini hates the idea, but it's the only way to escape. Jumping off the cliff. After all, Trini did hate heights in the early part of the TV show. Back at the youth centre, Billy tells Kimberly about the car that his dad bought, the one that will eventually become the Rad Bug. Kimberly is a bit distracted though as she sees Matt hanging out with another group of friends and getting rather friendly with another girl. Billy says he's trying to make Kimberly jealous. She then hops out of her seat and says she wants fries. As she orders some fries from Ernie, Skull approaches her and asks Kimberly to go out with him the next evening. She says why not, which sort of surprises Skull. This was fun, as Skull did have a crush on Kimberly in the TV show, and they were supposed to go out together in one episode, although that was only because Kimberly agreed to it after Babu spiked her drink. Now the Kedri are taking Rita somewhere, a place where nothing has ever stepped foot inside. This thing supposedly holds the secrets of the universe. Adriel tells Rita she can't enter this place alone. Rita says she has no intention of doing so, and that she needs Adriel and every soldier she can spare. And we see they're going to enter the Temple of Repulsor. That's the end of this issue. It was pretty fun in places, and I like how this story is developing. The Temple of Repulsor was something created by Boom Studios, so it wasn't in the TV show. We can only speculate what's in there. If you look carefully, you can see a dragon at the front of the temple. Could this be where the Dragonzord power coin is kept? Is this paving way for Tommy Oliver's arrival? Unlike Beyond the Grid, I am looking forward to the next issue of Go-Go Power Rangers. I hope we learn what's inside the Temple of Repulsor.